One question. I know you're probably going to wrap up in a bit.
Yeah.
Going back to your point, because I remember you saying about the gay cake and stuff like that.
The gay cake.
The gay cake. We know about the gay cake.
Yeah.
So do you think that you as a man in America right now and female, that you are being restricted to live as a Christian? Do you know what I'm saying? Because we were talking about like the idea, and you said, well, they're making us do gay marriages in the church and making us do gay cakes and stuff. So do you think that you are being restricted to be a Christian in this country?
That's a really good question. I would say not quite yet, but like the writing's on the wall.
You think so, really?
Yeah, I would say.
In what way?
Well, I mean, we have several cases already in the U.S. of we know people that are Christians. They were bakers, and they had to close their business down.
Friends of ours
had to pay, I don't even know how many,
$130,000
because they wouldn't bake a cake for a gay couple. So it seems like the liberal agenda is definitely trying to force that upon us, and that's why we're trying to fight against it.
You see, because you say liberal agenda,
Sure.
I find it interesting, especially because it's really still quite different to it is back home, where Christianity or religion is sort of so interlinked with politics. Do you know what I'm saying? Because saying liberal is a political idea. You know what I'm saying? It's sort of like how Christian, because some people, I've met, especially in England, like a lot of Christians are very liberal. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
There's a lot
it's
of
just cultural.
Yeah.
It's not like it's just very cultural.
Yeah, it's quite a liberal Christianity. Do you know what I'm saying? Where it's more playing the guitar, wearing some sandals. Do you know what I'm saying? It's more of that basis, isn't it? So it's quite interesting that over here it's sort of more like the liberals are making us make these cakes. Where in England it's more of
I'm gonna cut you off. Did you hear the story? Was it over in England? The story of the guy in Ireland named Daniel from Asher's Baking Company.
Yes. I think because did that happen in Northern Ireland or Ireland?
Northern Ireland.
Yes, because that's part of England.
Yes.
So I mean, I'm not making a political
It's the UK.
Just so I could say I'm not making a political statement there. I'm not,
I know.
Yeah, but it's a part of it. It has a UK government.
When I was in Ireland, I met Daniel, and I didn't know I was going to meet him. He was at a church I was teaching at, and I sat down with him. His is an interesting case because even in his case in Northern Ireland, this guy came in and said, I want you to bake this cake, and his family was like, very respectfully, we just can't do that. But what's interesting is that gay marriage is illegal in Northern Ireland, and he was still persecuted by the state, and he lost. And he was obeying not only, as a Christian, God's law, but he was obeying Ireland law. And that is that in Ireland, gay marriage is not legal.
I think it is now.
Is it now?
Yeah.
Wow. No, Southern. No, is it Southern?
I'm gonna have to refer to my. Is gay marriage legal now in Ireland? It is, isn't it?
Is it now?
I think I remember they had.
But when he did it,
big thing, yeah.
Ireland law didn't allow for gay marriage. So he was in that case. He was obeying even Irish law, but he was still, in a sense, punished. He was punished. He was punished by the state because he refused to do something, for a gay wedding, and he did something that was consistent with God's law and Irish law, and he still was punished.
And it's going to sound facetious. I don't mean this because it's going to sound like a disrespectful question, but I really don't mean it disrespectful way. Where does it say in that book that you can't bake that cake for a gay? Do you know what I'm saying though? Like it's sort of like why couldn't he have baked that cake?
Let me put it in this way.
Because it's not like because I do understand the debate more of I don't want to be the preacher in that ceremony. Like I can understand that debate more, but in terms of you baking a cake, you're providing a capitalist service.
I understand.
You're not providing a moral. Either way, it's not morality. It's just a capitalist service that you're providing. It's I don't think if you own a shop and a taco shop and a gay couple walk in, I don't think you have the right to say I'm not selling you a taco. I
agree.
Just what I'm saying? I don't agree with you there. Because, you know what I'm saying? Because I think you have a capitalist duty.
It's a category error. But it's a category error, and I appreciate the question. But it's a category error when someone says, I don't think you should be able to say to a person, I'm not going to feed you because you're gay. But we're not talking about feeding somebody a taco. We're talking about something being used for a ceremony to celebrate an idea. So, for example, if somebody came in to... let's go back to it because it's important. I think it hits the point because we all feel the same. We have the same hatred for this. If somebody back in the days of any slavery anywhere,
you love a bit of slavery.
I do, because it's common ground.
Love a slavery metaphor.
It's common ground. It's common ground.
You use slavery all the way up.
If somebody said, hey, I goes to the shop, I want you to build me some shackles and a nice whip. What's the whip for? Is it for a horse? No. It's for these guys I'm capturing over here. I want you to build me nice shackles and a nice whip. Like, but I know what you're using that for. I'm not doing that. Someone says, hey, capitalist society, you don't have any right to decide, like, not to serve me.
Yeah, I do get what you're saying.
It's a moral issue.
I get 100% what you're saying, but, well, I mean, I think it's weird to kind of use this. I know you're using it purely as a metaphor, and it's a powerful metaphor.
It's a morality.
100%. I do understand that, but there is a massive difference between two people who decide they love each other.
You see, there's your worldview. There's your worldview.
No, but there is a difference, man. I mean, do you think it's the same? Do you think it's the same crime of morality? Do you not see that there's a difference there? Because I mean, like, do you think that there is?
No. I'm just using it in the sense of I know.
But I was asking a question.
Not comparing homosexuality with or any transgenderism with slavery and capturing of human beings and beating them. I mean, in the sense of just a moral issue. So if somebody asks me to celebrate anything that God has spoken clearly about in terms of don't do that. I think that it's persecution ultimately and oppressive to demand that I do something that would celebrate something God says is not good.
Do you think if you bake a cake for someone, you're celebrating it, or do you think you're just providing the service?
Because I know what the cake's being used for.
Yeah.
It's being used to celebrate an idea, right? Now, here's the thing. I have affection and love for people who are homosexual. I care about gay people. I love them with a passion. I want them to know Jesus. However, when it comes to someone saying, I want you to do something that would violate what Jesus says is God's created order, I think that as a Christian you have a right to oppose. Now, and your question was ultimately not about like the ins and outs of that. It was about like, do you feel like that's actually coming on you now in a sense of persecution in the nation? And I was just bringing up an example like with Daniel in the UK. He's struggled with that. It's happened in our own nation. I think it's getting worse. And there's an article today from a famous gay activist talking about the fact that Christians should be punished for their rejection of the idea that homosexuality is a good thing. Christians should be punished. So it's coming. Now watch this. This is awesome, Jamali. Check out how like this works. Seriously, people have said in the past, America still has laws in the books that say blasphemy is a crime. There's blasphemy laws on the books in the United States because it was a Christian culture.
And do you think that's right?
Do I think it's
blasphemy should be a crime?
And it depends. It depends on how you mean that, right? But here's the point. Every law, every system has blasphemy laws. In the U.S. before, when this was a more Christian culture, blasphemy against who? Jesus. But today, it's not blasphemy against Jesus that's against the law. It's called hate speech. And it's blasphemy against the LGBT culture. So every law every system has its heresies. Every system has its blasphemy laws. Every system has its theocracy, the ultimate standard. It's a question of which ultimate, what standard. And today we're in a situation where we've moved away from a Christian culture and Christian law to now the blasphemy laws have switched. It's not blasphemy any longer to denigrate Jesus, but it is blasphemy to say that homosexuality is sin or to preach it in the street. We've had friends who have been arrested in the UK and in Canada for simply standing on a street and mentioning that homosexuality is sin.
Yeah, did they say that, or did they say, fags go to hell?
Our friends wouldn't have said that.
I'm not saying your friends would, but
our friends wouldn't do it.
You got those, what they called, the Westboro.
Evil.
They're not our friends.
The Westboro.
For the record, Westboro is not our friends.
Evil, disgraceful. They denigrate the gospel. I'll be honest with you. I would probably, if I was in like an event and I saw Westboro Baptists there doing what they were doing, I would probably ignore for a moment the people that don't know Christ that I would want to talk to, and I would go for Westboro Baptists and confront and condemn them for their denigrating the gospel with their hateful, awful behavior.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, I've got video footage. My friend merely read the text of Romans 1 where it talks about homosexuality, just read it in England, and he was arrested for reading Romans 1 from the Bible. And that's where we are today, because every place has its ultimate. It's a question of which ultimate is true. And that's why I want you to know Jesus, Molly.
I got a hypothetical question for you. So,
please.
If there was a 40-year-old man that was a pedophile and wanted to and was going to marry, say, a 5-year-old boy, and they asked you to do stand-up for his wedding,
Yeah.
would you, 1, do it, 2, would it be right for the state to obligate you to do it?
Yeah. No, of course I wouldn't do it.
Right.
No.
But this is the same thing.
Is it flights and hotel? No, obviously. I mean, do you know the book? Like, is that a gig offer there? No, I'm joking. Obviously, I'm joking. But no, look, see, again, it's, and I do understand the question. I do understand it's a hypothetical, and I think we need to ask hypotheticals here. But I do think we run into this weird ground when we talk about one thing. And I know it's my perspective, and my perspective is, that I don't think being gay is as bad as being a pedophile. And you could say, well, how do you know that?
Right.
I just believe
But
that.
they love each other.
No,
they're two people that love each other.
Yeah, but the thing is like, if we're talking about pedophilia, it's a weird ground we're getting into now, but we're talking about, having sex with a child kills that child. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it can kill that child, having sex with a child. Do you know what I'm saying? We're talking about two adults making a consensual decision. Do you know what I'm saying? And then to say that, but what about a nonce? And it's like, but we're talking about a 5-year-old child who can't make a decision. You don't know your sexuality at 5. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or you're still trying to find who you are as a person.
But you agree with the moral premise that if something is, you believe, immoral, you shouldn't be obligated to do anything for it.
I do. I don't think you should be like morally obligated to go. I don't think you should be forced to go to the wedding or none of that. But I think we get into a weird ground when we have a system of like, you're there to provide a particular service, financial service, capitalist service, and then you start picking and choosing who you decide. Now, and I might be wrong with that.
Yeah.
Just what I'm saying. I'm not, and I'm pretty open-minded to that, and I think that, but then at the same time, I believe in freedom. So there is a.
That's why you need an objective standard.
But you say that.
You need Jesus, Jamali.
I mean, you say that, Jeff.